All right, guys. So there's been all kinds of rumors about Trump possibly going on a Joe Rogan podcast. Now, this comes after Trump made his appearance on the Nelk Boys, which pissed off some people in the media like Jimmy Kimmel, right? Who didn't like it too much because, legacy media is old and alternative media is on the come up, right? Getting interviews with the former president of the United States. He didn't really like to see that all that much, okay? So that being said, again, there was a whole lot of speculation about whether or not Trump was going to follow up this interview and go on Rogan, okay? And in my opinion, if I'm Trump's advisors, I'm telling him, you actually should go on Rogan, and you should go as soon as possible, and you should go like every 6 months, right? I really don't understand why it hasn't happened yet. I am pretty sure a Trump Rogan podcast would be the single most listened to podcast ever, right? There's no doubt in my mind, right? So I don't know why it hasn't happened yet. However, Joe Rogan has actually spoke about this and is setting the record straight on Trump coming on to the podcast. So I want to talk about that. But before we get into that, I just want to let you guys know, if you like my channel, you want to support my channel, you can do so using the links in the description below. You support the Patreon, you support the PayPal, you support the merch. There are multiple ways to support the channel if you would like to do so. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this clip of Joe Rogan discussing whether or not Trump is actually coming on the podcast. Take a look.
Been a whole thing where 100 people at least have texted me and sent me emails and contacted friends because they heard Trump was coming on my podcast. And the source of it is a fake Trump account on Twitter.
Oh, God.
That said, I'm going on the Joe. It's a Trump's face. And it's a fake account that said, I'm going on the Joe Rogan podcast soon. And I think it came out of the fact that Trump was on the Nelk Boys podcast, and then YouTube removed that podcast. They pulled the podcast, which is, that's one of the craziest things you could do, because then everyone's going to talk about how YouTube removed that podcast. Like, you can't even have Trump talk.
Right. Well,
former president of the United States, you can't let him talk.
Somebody did send me, apparently not, but somebody did send me a note saying that he was going to be on your show.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I thought,
I've got the
not really
original,
sure if that's the case.
It's not the case.
Yeah, I know.
I'll send you the look. I have decided that I am very apolitical when it comes to the future and like in political candidates. I don't want to have that kind of an influence, and I want to be someone who can watch and observe. I don't want to be someone who's actually affecting this.
All right, guys. So I really don't like what Joe Rogan said there for a variety of reasons. But, first and foremost, he did confirm that Trump is not scheduled to come on the podcast. He talked about a Twitter account that actually looks just like Trump's Twitter account that tweeted that out. I actually seen the tweet, and people actually did retweet it a lot. And I really don't understand why, because everybody knows that Trump does not have a Twitter account anymore. So making a Twitter account that looks just like Trump's Twitter account and then tweeting out something like that, I don't understand how people fall for that. But it happens, okay? But that led to people thinking that Trump is coming on the podcast. And I guess Joe Rogan felt the need to address it. And during his address, he also basically states how he wants to be apolitical, right? And how he doesn't want to have direct influence over politics or anything like that. And to me, that sounds like he's trying to maybe take a step back, right? Is he saying that he doesn't want to interview any more political candidates? Because that's kind of what it sounds like, right? And some people in the comment section of this video that I found this video in had the same interpretation, right? It sounds like he doesn't want to interview political candidates anymore. And that, to me, is a cause for concern. That is very, very, very disturbing, because Joe Rogan, during a time of extreme censorship, where you have politicians being censored on YouTube, on, Twitter, Facebook, all the major platforms, Joe Rogan still serves as a platform for less censorship, okay? Even though Spotify, does do their censoring to a certain extent, for the most part, Joe Rogan, he's not censorable. He might not feel this way, but I feel this way. I think that at this point, you've already had Bernie Sanders on, Tulsi Gabbard, Andrew Yang. We see the impact that Joe Rogan has when politicians are on his show. Okay, he's single-handedly help political candidates run for president. So now when you're saying that you're not opening up your platform for them anymore, that's a cause for concern, especially, again, during a time of extreme censorship that we're seeing right now, right? I think you're letting a whole lot of people down because your platform is supposed to be a platform for open debate and discussion. That's the way that you market your platform. Now you're saying that, hey, you know, I really don't want to have politicians on my platform anymore because I don't want to be that influential. And it's like, dude, you have the biggest platform in the world, okay? The biggest platform in the world. Everybody that you bring on the show is going to have some type of political influence, even if they're not politicians. When you bring on scientists to talk about COVID, that has political sway and influence. When you bring on people that are political commentators, that has political sway and influence. When you talk about politics or policies in general, that has political influence. So I really don't understand exactly where this guy is coming from when he's talking about how he doesn't want to, I guess, be directly involved in politics. Because at the end of the day, your platform is simply a platform. And Joe Rogan has the biggest platform during a time of unprecedented censorship in which politicians are being censored on major platforms. And for you to come out here and say, or to imply that, hey, you know, I don't necessarily want to have political candidates on my show anymore, that's devastating, right? That is terrible, okay? That's not good news. So again, I really don't understand it because for what the guy does and what he talks about, right? I mean, we're talking about Joe Rogan here. He's a guy that likes, you know, talking about weed, okay, legalization, UFOs, stuff like that. What better person to talk to about stuff like that than the former president of the United States? Okay? Could you guys imagine Joe Rogan and Donald Trump having a conversation about UFOs? Right? Like, could you imagine Joe Rogan grilling Trump on that? That is a must-listen to podcast. Okay? It would be the most listened to podcast ever. Right? But for some reason, I don't know whether it's on Trump's side. I don't know whether it's on Joe Rogan's side. Maybe this interview indicates that maybe it could be on Rogan's side. Who knows? They haven't made it happen, right? And again, I don't know why for the life of me, because President Trump is exactly who somebody like Rogan should be talking to, right? And we need to normalize politicians talking to normal, everyday people, okay? That's what we need to do. We need people like the President of the United States going on platforms like the Nelk Boys or Joe Rogan, because at that point, they can have real conversations, okay? Not with these journalists that aren't actually real people, okay? They're not real people. Okay, the conversations you're going to get there, they're going to be scripted, they're going to be edited, they're not going to be raw and uncut. What we need today, right, in our society when it comes to politics is more transparency. And the way to get that is through having politicians do these interviews and talk to actual regular people who don't necessarily have an agenda or a script, right? That's going to sit down and have a 2 or 3 hour conversation about the issues that actually matter, the things that matter, right? That's what we need, okay? We need that so desperately. And during a time like this, for Joe Rogan to come out here and basically imply that, hey, you know, I don't want to be as influential as I've been. You know, I want to take a step back. I want to be apolitical. You know, implying that he doesn't necessarily want political candidates. I'm not necessarily sure if he's saying he doesn't want Trump, but he doesn't want political candidates in general on his show anymore. I don't know exactly what he's saying, but I don't necessarily like the direction of what he's saying. It sounds to me like he is slowly but surely giving in to the mob, right? The mob of big tech and the woke revolutionaries that have repeatedly tried to cancel the man, okay? He's come out here and apologized for things he doesn't need to apologize for. You know, he's, again, I just really don't like the direction that Joe Rogan seems to be going in here, okay? He doesn't have to give in to the mob, but slowly but surely it seems like that is what's happening here, right? So, again, I could be wrong. I could be misinterpreting this incorrectly. But, you know, I don't really like the sound of what he's saying. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.